It's a very good afternoon. It's 2 p.m. This is Market View, the final episode this week. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Lungelele Emakakula. I hope you had a lovely week. We get into today's episode. The Central Bank Governor, Dr. Phil Mnisi, presented his annual monetary policy today. A key takeaway from the governor's statement lies in the downward revision of inflation expectations across the forecast horizon. The governor said as of March 2025, the central bank sees inflation averaging 4.88% this year, down from 5.25% projected in January. The same trend continues into 2026 and 2027, with forecasts trimmed from 4.80% to 4.45% and from 4.57% to 4.30% respectively. Also, industry leaders have commended the policy, describing it as a strategic blueprint that outlines a clear vision for economic growth in the country. Stay tuned for more content on the monetary policy. For now, let's go straight to our first story. And for our first story, the economic outlook indicates a continued drop in inflation, revised to 4.88% in 2025, 4.54% in 2026, and 4.30% in 2027. This was revealed by the governor of the Central Bank of Eswatini, Dr. Phil Mnisi, during his annual monetary policy statement address at the Central Bank complex at Eswatini. He emphasized that the economy remains resilient, with a projected growth of 7.9% this year before moderating to 5.0% in 2026 and 3.3% in 2027.
On the domestic economy, preliminary estimates indicate that Eswatini's real GDP growth slowed to 2.6% in 2024, down from a revised provisional estimate of 3.4% in 2023. The deceleration was largely driven by a significant slowdown in the tertiary sector, which is estimated to have grown by only 1.2% in 2024, compared to 6.5% in the previous year. GDP is projected to improve to 7.9% in 2025, before moderating to 5% in 2026 and 3.3% in 2027. The forecasted strong performance in 2025 will be driven by the commencement and acceleration in the implementation of large-scale public and private sector projects, particularly in dam construction and major energy-related projects. During the year ended 31 March 2025, this scheme issued a total of 146 new guarantees valued at 35 million, covering loans amounting to 40.2 million from various participating financial institutions, contributing to a 15.9% increase over the year. In March 2025, the bank revised down its inflation outlook to 4.88% from 5.25% for 2025, 4.54% from 4.8% for 2026, and 4.3% from 4.57% for 2027. Over the short term to medium term, the bank will continue with its mandate of ensuring low and stable inflation.
Industry leaders have commended the annual monetary policy statement, describing it as a strategic blueprint that outlines a clear vision for economic growth in the kingdom. They highlighted the statement's strong emphasis on the upliftment of small and medium enterprises, which they believe will stimulate job creation, boost innovation and drive sustainable development across sectors. The positive sentiment comes in the wake of the Central Bank of Eswatini Governor Dr. Phil Mnisi's remarks during his annual monetary policy address, where he laid out a bold economic roadmap that has inspired confidence among business leaders and investors alike.
I was happy to note that, at least for this year, the GDP growth projections are high. I do hope that working together with the Ministry of Finance and other stakeholders, that the GDP projections can continue to increase in the future. But of course, we are operating in a very disruptive times with a lot of uncertainty, with the global tariff situations and the high dependence on the SACU receipts. So I think the country is doing great in terms of managing the situation. I think what's needed moving forward is to continue investing and supporting in the micro, small and medium enterprises, which is really the growth of the economy. And I was happy that the governor in the discussion focused on financial inclusion, making sure that we give opportunities for key populations like women and youth, and also given the high vulnerability to climate change of the country, the central bank also has a key role to promote green growth of the economy.
For us, being in the insurance sector, one major concern we are concerned about mainly issues around inflation, because it then talks to disposable income of both business and the individuals, which then also talks to the appetite of insurance products. We'll see what do they prioritize when they go to buy. So I think the comfort that has come, especially in terms of the central bank's mechanisms to try and regulate, or maybe try to make sure our exposure as a country is minimized. I think the central bank have their ducks in a row, which gives us comfort. And we are certain, when we look into the future outlook in terms of the country, there is hope. The business, there'll be stability in terms of economic drive. I think also linking it up with the plan ya hulumende, 12% economic growth. So when you look into the major projects, as in how will the monetary policy actually come into play, or try to make sure those things are assisted, I think it was coming out clearly from the governor's address. Loguti, they are going to make sure there's a lot of stimulation in as far as local players are concerned, so that there's a lot of forex import rather than us exporting currency. So I think it was very encouraging to hear that. I think at high level, it is a good statement, but I'm just imagining of an MSME or someone low end in business who needs to contribute to the economy. How well do they relate to this monetary policy? So I think we need to go further as industry players or as captains of industry. We need to then take it down to grassroots level and make sure the people that we interact with, or the people that are contributing to the economy, actually understand their part in ensuring they play part on what the central bank is doing in the country.
The governor's statement, his monetary policy statement, was interesting for us because it shows us that there's a positive outlook for the country, and that encourages us, especially for our MSMEs. We are hoping that they will be able to take advantage, particularly of the schemes that are already existing in terms of the small guarantee scheme, which assists SMEs to be able to access funding. And we know the uptake is not the best, but we also acknowledge that there are defaulters, and we would want to address those challenges that they are facing, our SMEs, in terms of being able to service their loans, which means that we need to really strengthen our capacity building when it comes to financial management as well as business development for them to scale up. And what I've also taken is that we're going to see more of our entrepreneurs into the export. Already with SADCO, with Eswatini Standards Authority, we have started a program in terms of getting our MSMEs to be export ready in terms of the certification, in terms of standards and quality. And we're hoping with that in itself will enable them to then be able to bring back the foreign exchange to the country. I think the governor stressed that our MSMEs are the kick drivers. They're the ones who are in our country who are not going to live with the money. So any profits that they make, it's staying within the kingdom for the growth of the economy of Eswatini.
For our business news, after the break, we connect with Mvuselelo Fagut, who is the president of Business Eswatini, to get his reaction. Stay with us.
Eswatini TV has signed a code of conduct that is enforced by the Eswatini Communications Commission. We are committed to reporting news that is accurate, comment that is fair, and programming that does not amount to hate speech or the description of gratuitous violence or explicit sex. For any complaints of our programming, please contact us on 2411-9600 or email info@eswatinitv.co.za. You can also contact the Eswatini Communications Commission on 2406-7000 or write a letter to ECCOM on PO Box 7811 Mbabane. Email address is info@ecom.org.sz.
Welcome back. You're still watching Market View. Thank you for staying with us. In 2024, credit extended to the private sector continued to rise, driven by positive economic activity. Private sector credit grew at an average of 8.4% in 2024, slightly lower than the